Hello, welcome back everyone. So here's part 2 of my Wheel of the Year readings that I am offering as a discount on my website, themysticrosetarot.com. So what I'm doing with these videos here that I've created, the one that I did previous to this, the astrological Wheel of the Year, is just that. It focuses on the 12 signs. I also threw in the planets and the 12 houses that the signs rule in each of these houses. And I did a demo just to describe the energy and the influences of the planets for each of these signs throughout the year. And in this reading, this is the Witch's Wheel of the Year. And the reason why I describe this reading as the Witch's Wheel of the Year is just that. It focuses on the 8 seasons of the year. And so this is more in tune to those who have a practice in witchcraft, those who are Wiccan, and or those who just connect with the seasons and the cross quarters. So here I'm using the Wildwood Tarot. I'm using an abbreviated version of the Wildwood Tarot's Wheel of the Year. Excuse me. Their Wheel of the Year goes into different layers. They have this to start. Okay, we have the premise. This is our summer solstice here, which is the green woman, green man. I'm going to show this just like here, because if I get too close, the focusing starts becoming a problem. Here's the green man. Okay, so this is a joining of masculine and feminine energy. We're seeing the seasons, the elemental influences of water and fire coming together. They're joining. This is our summer solstice. Our cross quarter, we're going from summer to winter and then to spring. Our cross quarter for the summer is Lammas, and this is represented by the woodward. And this is August 1st. Our equinoxes, light and day, or day and night, I'm sorry, are equal, but in this case, as we're going into the fall season, the northern hemisphere, our days are getting shorter, our nights are getting longer, and this is represented by the wheel. Okay, and I like the placement of this because they're facing each other, so we're seeing the equality of the seasons facing each other in the sense, but in opposite hemispheres. So as we're going to fall, we're seeing the southern hemisphere, spring beginning to rise, and the same throughout here as we go through the seasons. Then we have the journey card, which is for Samhain, representing Halloween. The woodward, the wheel, and the journey are our 3 harvest seasons for that fall period. Then from there, we go into winter solstice or Yule, December 21st, give or take a day. As I had mentioned in the previous video, every few years, the date for our solstice and equinoxes either move back or they go forward a little bit or they stay the same. Okay, this is representing the Great Bear. Okay, again, this is winter solstice, Samhain, Halloween is the journey. Pole star, this is Imbolc. Now this is when we start seeing, this is for February 1st, this is where we start seeing the first light of winter. And that's when light becomes more apparent at this time in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, they're getting ready to enter into the autumn season, and that's by Lammas. Northern hemisphere, as we keep moving along, we have the stag. Okay, so this is representing our spring season, March 21st. Also known as Ostara. So we have Ostara, Imbolc, Yule, Samhain, Mabon, Lammas, and Litha. Going back to our spring equinox, Ostara, after March 21st, we have May 1st. This is Beltaine. It's fire energy. So our cross quarters that we see here, Beltaine, Lammas, Samhain, and Imbolc, represents the transition in between these seasons, in between our equinox and solstice season. Okay, Yule and the winter solstice fall at the same time. Okay, Mabon also represents our fall season. Ostara represents our spring. Litha represents our summer. So to do this witch's wheel of the year reading, this is a little bit more simplified because we have no houses, we have no signs. We're just working with the energy of the seasons and the transitory seasons that come in between. Transitory Sabbats, I stand corrected with that. So when I do a reading like this, a witch's wheel of the year, we're focusing on those Sabbats, on the actual equinox, the solstice, and also our lesser Sabbats that are Imbolc and Beltaine and Lammas and Samhain. So the way I approach this reading is it's a little bit more simplified. So for someone who wants to connect with those seasons at those times, what I would do is, this deck is a prime deck to work with for this because it is recognizing the seasons, and there are a few other decks that are out there that deal with the energy of all the 8 Sabbats, the lesser Sabbats and the greater Sabbats. And this deck I got during the pandemic. I really kept away from the Wildwood Tarot for whatever reason, and then I just fell for this deck. So as I'm doing this, this is the deck that I work with during this time of the year. The other deck that I have here is an oracle deck. It's the Witch's Oracle, which I can use as an additional guide for the readings that I do for the Witch's Wheel of the Year. So what I would do is pull a card for each of these, basing on the energy, okay? And as I mentioned in my previous video for the astrological Wheel of the Year readings, is I keep my readings as simple as possible because I allow the energy and the visuals and the interpretations that I'm feeling and getting from these cards speak to me, so I could pull a lot of information from just a few cards. So let's go ahead and do an example of this Wheel of the Year with the Witch's Oracle, which is by Sally Morningstar. So let's say here for summer, okay? I don't have my reading table, my big one, so I'm very tight with space, so I'm going to place the cards on top of each of these. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, shuffling here. Okay, I'm going to place a card on top of each of these. Okay, this is for summer. I'm pulling a card from the top. Lammas. This is our autumn. Mabon. Okay. This is for Samhain. Yule, winter solstice. Imbolc. Ostara, for spring. And Beltaine for May 1st. It's our spring lesser Sabbath. Okay. And then what I could do is, after I do these readings, I pull a card from the Witch's Oracle. And get some deeper insight for each of these seasons. Because again, there's a lot of information that I can pull from these cards. So let's start here. This again is an example of what a witch's Wheel of the Year reading is. Again, this is the Wildwood Tarot. I got 5 of arrows. Okay, so this is representing Litha, our summer season, for June 21st. Okay, so we're seeing here the 5 of arrows. We're seeing frustration. Now, during the season of the summer solstice, this again, we're doing a reading from June 21st to August 1st. Okay, summer season, Litha is the peak of energy. Some people read the summer energy as water. Some people read it as fire. In this reading, what I pick up here, because arrows represent movement, they represent the way that we are doing our actions. We're seeing a lot of challenges coming in and how we have to work through these challenges. 5 of arrows, we have the frustration. We want to get through this, but we're constantly finding a challenge during this time of the year. Okay, summer is this time of, being more external with our activities. We're at the height of the year. We're halfway into the year, so all this energy of doing activities and engaging with nature outdoors is very strong. But we also have to be mindful that even though this is such an open time of the year, summer solstice, we have to still be mindful that, with play, there will also be some things that may come and just sort of throw a riff, and we need to be prepared for anything that may happen during that time of the year. Okay, so this is our 5 of arrows for the summer solstice. Okay, I'm going to do a clarification card. What's the best approach that we could take with this? Okay, so again, because of table space, I'm just going to have to put these cards on top of each other. It's not going to be pretty. I've been working a lot with larger layouts, so it's been hard to really to lay them out the way that I would see them in a reading. Okay, so top card, protection. Okay, so during this time, obviously, with challenges and frustration, we need to find a force of energy around us while we go through this. We're going to have to face anything that comes our way that may not be what we need or what we feel we need, but it's actually something that we could grow from. But in the meantime, while all of this is happening, we need to have a good sense of strength and self-belief during this time. Okay, so be mindful of that energy. So again, this is going from June 21st into August 1st, which is Imbolc. So let's see the card we got here for Imbolc. Okay, the Woodward. The Woodward deals with strength and moving forward. Okay, and so we have this courage and this fastidiousness of focusing on something and just moving straight with it. Interesting enough, this card, the Mirror, is one of the cards that is represented in the Wheel of the Year in this deck, but in one of the inner wheel hubs of this Wheel of the Year. So the Mirror, okay, so as we are going through this transition of moving forward and finding that courage through thick and thin, I think this is a wonderful transition actually. We are changing inside. And while all this energy, as all this movement is happening, we also need to take a moment and just to see what's happening within us, okay? Because there are changes going on every minute that we are on this planet. We are shape-shifting, okay? And it's just time to really connect to that energy, okay? So here we got that Mirror. We have what is changing within us. We have to harness that energy. Okay, this is August 1st. This is for Lammas. This is our first harvest. Another way that we can approach this is what are some of the things that we have gained, even though we've had these challenges happening and we're, watching our environment. What is that? What have we learned and gained that we can give back to other people? Okay, that's with Lammas. So let's see what we got here. Study. This is good. So here, these two cards work very well together because as we're moving forward and we're feeling these changes, we know changes are going on, we are taking this moment to be still, okay? And literally look at ourselves and see what has changed. What have we learned? What have we gained? What have we let go of? The neophyte. So sorry. Yes, I am battling a cold right now, but it's not as bad. So here, okay, so we are looking at this kind of energy of self-reflection during the first harvest, the year of Lammas, which is good because at this time, as we reach the peak of the summer solstice, our sun is slowly giving us less days, okay? And so this is a time that we can really start seeing and practicing what we need within ourselves. Okay, so here we are with autumn. Okay. So we got the wheel here. The wheel is just that transition. Transition every way. Inward, outward, outward, inward. What is being processed during this time? Okay, the card that I got here is 10 of Arrows. Instruction, guidance, generations, understanding, listening to what is happening, what is changing. I think this is one of the more beautiful depictions of teaching, showing the younger generation tools, sharing our experience and passing it down. Okay, this is another great way to bring in the season of Mabon. Okay, so again, this is not an actual reading. There are no questions placed. This is just a demo. This is just an example of how I would use the Witch's Wheel of the Year during the seasons. If you want a reading to just more or less encompass what you need to focus on during the seasons, whether it's in a relationship, work, so on and so forth. I can still do that reading for you, but incorporating the seasons. Cleansing. It's interesting here. Okay, so we are seeing a transition here. This is during the fall season. And I think during each equinox and each solstice, there is a form of cleansing, a form of releasing. When that happens, you are making space. Whenever you're cleaning, whenever you're purifying, whenever you are creating space in any way, it's a lightening of the spirit. It's lightening of your environment that you know of. And so this cleansing period here, excuse me, this cleansing period that we have with the Witch's Oracle, okay? I know it seems kind of contradictory to this card here for instruction, but I think what I feel with this card and this card, I feel this is more of a representation of taking a new approach to what you've been learning. Okay, you get educated, you study, you do your work, you do your exams, so on and so forth, and you get knowledge. With that knowledge, you gain a different perspective. And so with that different perspective here, with the 10 of Arrows and this cleansing, you can create a new perspective with the information that you've learned. I think it's very important to understand that. Get this to focus again. There we go. Okay, so this is the autumn equinox. Samhain. Got the world tree. For those of you who have this deck and they've worked with it, don't know if you could see it very closely, but this world tree, another beautiful representation, shows the seasons. Okay. We're seeing winter. We're seeing summer, like as summer is starting to wane. Here we have spring. Okay. Actually, let me take that back. Winter, fall, spring. I'm missing one here. It's not coming to me right now. Because I'm looking at the energy of the trees here. Anyhow, we have the world tree. And so this is representing Samhain. The third and last harvest. This is where we go into our deeper realm, where we are letting go of. Where we are feeling this energy of release, to purge, to destroy, to also nourish as well. Okay, so this represents Samhain. Samhain too is that welcoming of spirits who have passed on. So it's a wonderful experience when we hit that time of the year of Samhain. Okay. I'm going to bring this up closer. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. Because I had to look at it because of the colors. So we're starting to see growth. So I do spring here, summer, fall because of the browning and the orangey colors that we see during fall, and then of course winter. So had to look at it for a second for that the world tree, going through all the seasons, exploring all the different aspects, being that this is Samhain. Okay, what have we learned also in the previous seasons, previous Sabbats? What have we learned? What have we learned during the summer and spring months? All right, so then let's see here. Yeah, I'll leave it like this. The green man, growth. Okay. For those who practice witchcraft and those who are Wiccans, Samhain is the new year. Samhain is the new beginning. It is the welcoming of the new season, the new Sabbats. So with that, we have growth. Okay. I'll show you this here. So when we go, when each of us go through the wheel of the year seasonally, okay, the environment, the changes of the weather, the changes of the environment, they clearly influence us. You know, we hear when people say, "Oh, I love summer. It's that best time of the year. It's warm. We get to go outside." Well, some people don't like summer. They prefer the winter months or spring or autumn, right? We have all these different experiences that we gain. So the seasons that challenge us, the ones that we don't embrace, is something that we need to pay attention to. You know, it's like, what can we learn from it? You know, what is it about the summer? And if it's something that is physically challenging for you, we can work, we can adapt with it. Okay, that's why it's very important to understand those energies that take place during the seasons. Okay, so here we have season of Yule. I'll say that again, the season of Yule, winter solstice. We have the Great Bear. Great Bear is the awakening, like the aurora borealis that we see here. It's the awakening. It's coming out of the cave from hibernation. And that's basically what the winter solstice and Yule is. It's that awakening. It's that time to start preparing for spring. When I talk to people, I say winter is not the peak of being introvert. You can be inside your cave, but you're starting to do things. The time of being introvert is from fall into winter. And with that energy that we have here, okay, this is the shaman within us. Okay, all of us have key traits in the major arcana. All of us are the major arcana. All of us are those powers. It's just a matter of tapping in, connecting with them. Okay, so I'm going to do this because it's starting to look a little chaotic. There you go. All right. So again, we're summer, Lammas, Mabon for fall, Samhain for our quarter. Okay, I got to get through this very quickly here. So here is our oracle card. Heritage, our roots. This is for our winter solstice. This is our ancestors, our roots. What have we gained? For those who are connected to nature, for those who feel that you are connected to some aspects of nature, whether it's animals or the trees, the water, the air, or all of it. That's our influences. Those are our influences coming from ancestors that you may not know about. This is where you become empowered. Aradia. I believe she is the daughter of Diana. And here we have the crow. Very maiden-like. She can also represent the messenger of the next generation. In this card we see a lot of growth, and we have the moon right behind her. So we see this energy building up, and she's carrying flowers. Simple, that's all she needs. She is part of nature. So this is our winter solstice in Yule. Okay. Now we're going to Imbolc. Well, we start seeing light. We have the pole star. Okay. We have this energy that's happening above us. We're being guided through the forest. Okay. We're being guided as we are in this transition between winter and spring. We have the guidance of the light above us, the moon. The card that I pulled for this is exploitation. Okay, I don't really like the use of this word for this card, but it shows how we cannot, if we're not using our resources properly. We see beehives in the background that are not being cared for. See fires in the back. It's very desolate. We have a rake here that is broken. This is not a very prosperous card, and we have two souls here that are lost. It almost holds energy to the Five of Wands, the Five of Pentacles. But the stones here is earth. It's representing how we use the materials that are around us. And here it's shown that's not being used properly. Now, I'm not saying during the time of Imbolc that this is what's going to happen, but it's a sign to be mindful, of the resources and how we are using them. Are we using them wisely? So this isn't a predictive card, but it's just taking a look at what we have and how we are best utilizing it. Okay, so I'm going to pull one more card here. Enchantment. How can we turn, if we are struggling, if we are having a hard time trying to allocate our resources, what can we do to change this? I'm not saying this is all fairy happiness, but there is work that's needed to do this. Even though it shows enchantment on it, it just goes to show that there is the possibility and option to change from this environment to this. For me, this is self-belief. I read it almost like, what magic can you do to change your situation? How can you find the light in something that is destructive like this? Okay. And that's during the season of Imbolc. Okay, while it's still winter, we're still moving towards the spring. So there is this potential to change any of this lack of resources or not using our best investments wisely. We can change it around, and I think it's important to know that by changing the situation around, it's empowering us so that when we continue through the next Sabbats, it will make us stronger and give us a clearer perspective as to where we need to go. Okay, so here we have the spring. Here is Ostara, the stag. Here we have the male deer, all strong, getting ready to welcome in Ostara, showing the rulership and the power that they have in its environment. Okay, the card I got for this is Endurance. Okay, this is 5 of stones. This is what comes before our 6 of stones. We had exploitation for the 6 of stones. Here we have 5 of stones. This is finding that light. This is a continuation. I feel from Imbolc to the spring season. There will be challenges, but very important is we need to endure during this time. All right, I'm going to pull one more card here. Actually, let's move it like this here, so I have a little bit more space. My apologies for the coughing and the sniffling. I've been doing a lot of stuff today, even though I should be resting. Okay, this is for spring. Psychism. Like this, the black cat. The cat is known for feminine energy, intuition. During this season of Ostara, again, this is all a demo. You could take this as an actual reading, since I did pull these cards, but this is just an example of how I would use these readings for a Witch's Wheel of the Year. So with psychism, we're following our intuition. Our intuition is magical if we can trust it. Not if we can, if you put trust into it. And harnessing that energy that is needed to keep the self-belief and the will to keep moving forward. Again, this is for our spring season. Okay, so for May 1st, this is Beltaine. We have balance. Okay, snakes represent wisdom. They're also healers. This is also a card associated with temperance. Balancing opposing forces that actually support each other. Okay. Beltaine is, May Day is fire. It's a fire. We're building up this energy as we get ready to go towards summer. Here, as I mentioned, summer can be seen for either fire energy or water energy, depending on what system you want to work with. Winter is sometimes seen as swords. And our fall season can sometimes be seen as water. The card associated with this reading I have Ace of Stones. Foundation of life. Steadfast. Getting ready to build in the direction that you are most strong and focused on. Nothing will move you. Okay, so we have fire and earth energy here. So let me pull from the Witch's Oracle. We have balance, okay? Beltaine. It's also fertility. Oh my God, how did that happen? I said fertility and I just flipped over this card. Okay, the chalice. Let's fill our cup. Let's fill this vessel. This vessel represents who we are. We have a running brook. We have pine cones. We have rainbow. We have a dove. The sun. Everything here is prosperous. This again, the chalice, is moving us towards that peak of summer. Okay, remember what I was saying. This is Beltaine. We're in between the spring and summer season. So we're starting to see this building up of energy, of belief. But this I'm feeling is more with the emotional side of this energy. It's lighter. It's promising. But we're also finding dedication too with this during this time of the year. With this cross quarter of Beltaine showing balance. Okay. So that's just an example of how I can read with this for the Witch's Wheel of the Year. So I'm going to wrap this up. If you have any questions about this, let me know. If you'd like me to do any one of these readings, Witch's Wheel of the Year. Okay, if you do practice Wiccan and you would like to have a reading, or you are practicing witchcraft and you want to take a perspective of the Wheel of the Year during the Sabbats, this reading would work very nicely for you. Okay, and I will work primarily with these two decks, the Witch's Oracle and the Wildwood Tarot. I do have another deck, the Witch's Wisdom, that I can incorporate, but this just for an example, as a demo, I want to show you how I would do a reading like this, using the guidance of the Wheel of the Year from the Wildwood Tarot. Okay, so information is on my website. This reading is 20% off starting from December all the way to the end of January. So if you are interested in having this reading done to connect with the Sabbats and the seasons of the year, this reading is 20% off, as well as my astrological Wheel of the Year readings. You could purchase these until January 31st. Ideally, if you can purchase these and have the reading done by January 31st, that would be great, because then we can start, you can start seeing how your year will be shaping based on these readings. If you can't do it, and you still buy it by January 31st, I can still honor this reading, and we could just start from whatever season you would like me to start in. Okay, so let's say you buy it January 31st, and we do it during the Sabbath of Beltaine or Litha for summer. I would start from that season and then go all the way around. Okay, so it'll be 8 that we're covering. So I think this is a wonderful reading. You know, a way of doing these readings to connect with these actual seasons that we have of Beltaine, Midsummer, Litha, Lammas, Equinox, Samhain, so on and so forth, Ostara. I think it's a wonderful approach to look at the seasons through doing a reading like this. Okay, I want to thank everyone for watching this. Thank you for your patience. I'll put all the information about the discount. You can gift this to someone as well. Just email me and let me know how you would like to have this gifted to someone, and we'll figure it out. Okay, so join in. Hopefully you will enjoy these readings and take part in them, and do it either for yourself or gift it to someone else. All right, thank you for watching. I will see everyone again soon. Have a great one.